Welcome me to the extracts of David Goggins, Never Finished, Unshackle Your Mind and Win the War Within. Introduction. So you're in your late 20s or early 30s. You believed you'd found the code to life and were living just as you'd imagined years ago. But are you sure? Is this truly the apex of your life? Or are you just starting out? In this extract from David Goggins' Never Finished, you'll find that life truly asks for never-ending improvement. Your so-called apex is only the beginning. What you're genuinely capable of far beyond your wildest dreams, and all it takes to achieve that is to strengthen your conviction through mental and physical resilience, and to embrace the challenges that await you.
Before we begin, we publish new content every week, so be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about the latest extracts. Our videos can be a bit longer sometimes because we never compromise on the content of the book and video. Therefore, it's important to watch the video till the end. Let's get started.
Extract 1. Stop moping about in your sadness and start moving ahead. Whether you like it or not, life is going to toss you lemons. There are little lemons, such as a missed assignment or a malfunctioning laptop. There are also large lemons, such as catastrophic accidents or bankrupt enterprises. But, regardless of the size of the lemons tossed at you, the crucial thing is to know how to avoid their long-term damage, and to keep moving forward. Unfortunately, that's easier said than done. Many people tend to dwell on their misfortune long after it has passed. They're still miserable, years after getting out of an abusive relationship or recovering from a physical injury. They wallow in their misery and think about how unlucky they are to be suffering such a fate. Sometimes, they even use it to justify their weakness and stay exactly where they are. You'll never have full control over the things you experience. Most of the time, in fact, you'll get the short end of the stick. You are responsible for how you act after going through a negative experience. It's your choice whether to pull yourself up and push yourself forward, or remain in that pit of despair and let it control your life. You're not expected to be 100% okay a day after a tragedy. Every day, you need to show yourself that you're working on breaking free from the chains of your past. Baby steps are fine, but never stop making progress. Sooner or later, you'll grow into the person you never thought you'd be. Extract 2. Use your unpleasant experiences to motivate you to achieve great things. If you say you haven't had a bad event in your life, you're either lying or the luckiest person on the planet. You're more likely to have at least one negative memory, whether it's of failing high school or growing up in an abusive environment. This recollection has somehow screwed with your psyche, and you've never felt entirely safe or confident since. Your initial step in dealing with that terrible memory is most likely to deny it. You may argue that the experience was not as awful as some witnesses claim. You could even come to the conclusion that it didn't truly happen the way it did. However, the longer you ignore this terrible experience, the longer you will be in pain. You will never fulfill your whole potential if you hide from the sorrow. Therefore, don't bury your terrible memory. Accept it and confront it with all of your energy. Sure, it's scary and unsettling to look pain in the eye, but doing so will not only free you, it'll also propel you forward. You can use that pain to your advantage. You can hoard it and treat it as motivation to prove everyone wrong. If you're having trouble taking the first step to face your pain, journaling is a good place to start. Write down your experiences so you'll have something to look back on once you've overcome your challenges. An even better way is to record yourself. Every time you encounter a negative comment or a traumatic memory, get out your phone and say your story out loud. Explain what happened, down to the littlest detail. Then listen to it every day. This might be hard at first, you probably don't want to relive the experience, but do it more often, and you'll eventually notice how brave you've become. You'll realize that you can now face your pain. Extract 3. A single second may mean everything in your life. What can you accomplish in a single second? You can't possibly eat an entire meal of salmon, compose a lengthy email, or do a 100-yard sprint. While 1 second is definitely brief, you'll be shocked to learn that it just takes that much time to make a significant change in your life. This is referred to as the 1-second decision by David Goggins. When faced with life's hardships, there will be times when you begin to question yourself. Perhaps you failed to clinch one contract and now believe you are incapable of running a profitable business. You failed to make it to Harvard, so you think you were never really smart in the first place. These instances are crucial. They can make or break you. Most people will quit on the spot after experiencing moments like these. That sliver of doubt is all it takes to push their dreams out the window. Don't make the mistake of doing the same. Instead of reacting abruptly, take a second to pause and decide. Push away all those emotions for a second, and gain control of your thoughts. Then ask yourself whether you're sure you need to quit or whether you're doubting yourself because of the stress and insecurity. If it's the latter, you can take that 1 second to decide to fight. Don't let a single moment of weakness drag all your dreams away. There will be many such instances in your life. You need to win each one, every single time. Remind yourself of why you're there. Stay hyper-focused on your goal. Once you overcome that doubt, you can use your newfound power to overcome many more challenges in life. You'll be stronger, all because you made the 1 second decision. Extract 4. Focus on the work at hand rather than wondering when your pain will cease. Assume you've been climbing for days and still haven't reached the peak. You glance at your map and realize you're just a bend away from your destination. Only a few more steps till you can rest and raise your flag on top of the mountain. You sigh with relief as you round the turn. Finally, you exclaim. However, when you glance about, you find that you are not at the pinnacle. Before reaching the genuine top, you must climb another little hill. Life is wired that way. When you think that your suffering is finally over, it dawns on you that it's still far from done, that what you attained was just a false summit. However, there's a simple way for you to avoid false summits. Stop looking for signs of the end post. Say your teacher told you to listen to an audiobook and summarize it afterward. You don't know how long the audiobook is, so while you're listening, you keep wondering if you're about to reach the end of the recording. Every time you think you're at the final chapter, though, you're greeted with another one. Looking for signs of when the audiobook ends not only causes you disappointment, it also distracts you from the essence of the activity. You're so focused on reaching the end that you forget to actually listen, and now your summary is an incomprehensible word soup. You know that the end will come eventually, so instead of looking for it, pay attention to the work at hand. Give it your all because it's what you're supposed to be doing. And the more you concentrate on your current responsibilities, the sooner you'll finish. Before you know it, you'll be right in front of the end post. Extract 5. Discipline can assist you in being more accountable and resilient. When you see a battalion of soldiers completing their early morning exercises, you realize how disciplined they are. They obey directions to the letter and are ready to strike before the roosters can go cock-a-doodle-doo. Discipline does exactly that to you. But you don't have to join the army to learn their discipline. You may grow it on your own from the comfort of your own home. Actually, discipline is nothing more than doing things to the best of your ability. It's about taking the initiative to start something, and not abandoning it halfway through. Things entails attempting to get it properly the first time, even when no one is watching or checking your work. When you're disciplined, you learn to be more accountable for yourself. You no longer have to rely on someone else to make your to-do list for you. You just get up, write down your tasks, and check them off one by one. Eventually, you learn how to build a plan of action around that to-do list, so you know exactly how your day will go. Being disciplined also helps you increase your mental and physical load. As you keep repeating and optimizing your tasks, you'll realize that your capacity is getting bigger by the day. You can now breeze through your to-do list in 4 hours when it used to take you an entire day. The most important side effect of being disciplined is a stronger mental state. You'll no longer feel insecure about other people's success because you'll be too busy taking action and focusing on your efforts. With that kind of negativity out of the way, there's no doubt you'll get to where you want to be. Extract 6. Don't be satisfied with mediocre results. Describe all you accomplished on the day you were born. Yes, you read that correctly. What did you accomplish as a day-old infant? If you're like the majority of people, probably not much. After all, no one is born with an abundance of trophies and awards. Everyone begins on the bottom rung of the ladder. But it doesn't mean you should settle for the bottom when you know the life you desire is at the top. You must be willing to take the next step. This is where many folks make mistakes. They would rather stay where they are because they are terrified of what lies ahead. Fear is natural. Who would want to venture into the unknown? But there's no other way to conquer your fear than to face it head on. Do what scares you, but don't go into battle without your sword. It pays to be prepared. Use your time at the bottom to prepare for the big opportunities in the future. Treat it as a training ground where you master your skills and become a better version of yourself. A good trick to keep in mind is to act as if you're already at the top. When you get to where you want to go, you won't have trouble adjusting. But, of course, life isn't always smooth sailing. No matter how much you prepare for something, you might still fail. And more often than not, it's because of something that is out of your hands. In cases like these, treat failure as a way to learn about yourself and gain the opportunity to strengthen your core for life's worst curveballs. Extract 7. Exceed the norm and establish your own. When you start a new job, one of the first things you'll learn about is the company's standards and expectations of its employees. Meetings need you to arrive early. You must provide a month-end report. You must be an excellent ambassador of the company everywhere you go. Such norms may be found everywhere, not only at work. They guide each team member and guarantee that they operate in accordance with the organization's goals. You are required to adhere to these principles religiously and to keep them in mind at all times. But while that's commendable, making these standards your primary target does you a disservice. It prevents you from reaching your full potential. Say your boss told you to make a week's worth of content for his business's social media channels. Most people would make just that 1 week of content and stop there. After all, that's what was required of them. But doing the bare minimum doesn't foster growth. To really grow means to surpass those set standards. It's about setting and striving for your own standards. So no, you don't just make a week's worth of content for your boss. You make a month's worth, or even a year's worth. You probably won't get a raise for going above and beyond. But you shouldn't be after the praise and recognition in the first place. You surpass the standards for internal validation to see how much you can really do and how far you can push yourself. That's how you grow. If you're doubtful about your ability to do this, try surrounding yourself with people who consistently exceed expectations. That way, your competitive self will be more motivated to get to work. Extract 8. Greatness is within your grasp if you are ready to put in the effort. What is your definition of greatness? Is it someone who receives the Nobel Peace Prize? Or wins the MVP award 10 years in a row? Or is it in charge of the moon missions? Yes, they are unquestionably some of the best of all time, and given the magnitude of their accomplishments, you may begin to believe that such a degree of perfection is simply out of your league. However, that mindset is precisely what prevents you from achieving greatness. Greatness, according to popular conception, is not an unattainable pinnacle that only the bright and affluent may ascend. You have it within your grasp, you're simply unwilling to pursue it. You aren't fully to blame, though. Most of the time, your upbringing can play a major part in limiting your thinking and making you believe that you're not destined for greatness. As soon as you enter the world, people start putting you into categories. You're a woman, so you shouldn't be a CEO. You're a man, so you should build a career in tech. You're only 18, so you should go to college and not set up a business. You're already 56, so you should start thinking about retirement and not switching careers. People have that habit of defining you even before you can really define yourself, and this, unfortunately, takes a toll on how you see greatness. But no matter how loud the negative voices are, know that you have the power to break out of those categories and redefine yourself. Be the first woman in your local electric company. Be the first high school dropout in your family who becomes a millionaire. Be the first 50-something-year-old in your college graduation. There always has to be someone to break the mold first. Let that someone be you. Final summary. To become the person you want to be, you must first break down the walls that you and society have erected. This necessitates your determination to push above your limits, keep the past from tainting your future, and drive ahead regardless of the hardship or grief. Here's one more bit of advice: be picky about who you associate with. The individuals you surround yourself with should be the first to see your full potential. Don't hang around with people that hold you back. Instead, they should be encouraging you and walking alongside you as you work toward your goals.
Got feedback? We'd love to hear from you about our content. Just share your thoughts and book recommendations in the comments section, and be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about the latest extracts. Thank you and have a great day.